because things are inevitably going to take an awkward turn during your holiday somewhere. Now, here's a few ways to redirect the conversation to safer ground. From last night's game, this is Sports Curious. I'm your host, Amy Butchon-Siegfried, and delighted to be here with you today as we roll into this holiday season. Now, we all have this idyllic version of our family holiday with chestnuts roasting on an open fire while drinking eggnog and laughing throwing our heads back in our Christmas sweaters. Now, let's be real. That only happens in the movies, or it might happen at your house for like 15, 20 minutes. At least that's how my house is. But inevitably, someone says something offensive about politics, insults the meal, or gives a present that is wholly inappropriate. We all know that things make an awkward turn somewhere along the line, and we're providing you today with a couple of ways to redirect the conversation to safer ground. With that, let's get started saving your sanity. Now, we're going to do this podcast a little differently than we normally do. So I'll give you a scenario and we'll tell you how to work yourself out of that. If you want any more information on anything we talk about, head on over to lastnightsgame.com and hit that podcast header. There you'll find the transcript for this podcast and every podcast we do with additional information and links so you have exactly what you need and you are armed and dangerous for those holiday events. So let's get started with that person at your office potluck. We all know them. You're stuck in the most horribly boring conversation in the world with no rescue in sight. So let's think about that. These people have to be passionate about something: pets, travel, their stamp collection, or a good cause. Let's talk about John Cena, whose heart is bigger than his biceps. The WWE wrestler's mantra is never give up, and that's what he's told countless Make-A-Wish kids that he's met with. There are so many moments to make you smile, like the time that he had a tea party with one Make-A-Wish visitor while decked out in his full wrestling regalia. Because of the orchestrated nature of his sport, he's even gone as far as to weave certain moves requested by kids into his quote-unquote performance during a mashup. If you want a list of great athletes who give back in such a big way as a way to enhance this conversation starter, head on over to lastnightsgame.com. Now let's talk about when your grandpa starts to talk politics and it sends your family into a tizzy. Raise your hand if you've been there. Hello. You know what is not controversial like politics? How about giving someone a gift that they love? Athletes might be known for their moves on the field, but their gift-giving abilities are certainly their hidden talent. Now, there's a list up here on lastnightsgame.com about how athletes spread holiday cheer in the locker room. And there are players like Trevor Siemian who gave out parkas that dispense Skittles, or Tom Brady who handed out Audi A7s, or Peyton Manning who loves to give a handwritten note, the gift that keeps on giving. Now, let's be honest, most of us has been there at some point. You were the life of the party, but now there's not enough Advil in the world to stop your hangover. Hopefully that's not you this morning. Now, here's how to keep yourself in the game by trying this recovery routine. Former NBA player Amar'e Stoudemire was known for bathing in red wine to help his post-game recovery, so it's no surprise that the former member of the Phoenix Suns and Israeli citizen created his own kosher wine. Now, if that's not something to talk about while you're at a cocktail party, I don't know what else there is. And our last, and certainly possibly the most awkward situation you might encounter at the holidays is when you put on that giant fake smile because you've received yet another pair of underwear in your stocking and not the Amazon gift card like you asked for. Be a good sport because it's time for college football bowl game season. Now, if you're not one of the 4 teams playing for a chance at the national championship game, which those 4 teams are Cincinnati, Michigan, Alabama, and Georgia, a bowl game is like a participation trophy, but with great TV exposure and gifts. The most memorable bowl game names for this college football bowl game season, say that 10 times fast, roll off the tongue like the Cheez-It Bowl, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, and the inaugural Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. And yes, there used to be a game called the Salad Bowl. So remember, when you open that package of underwear that you don't want, make sure to be a good sport, just like these teams. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we gave you a little nugget here or there to help you get out of those awkward holiday situations. But here's to hoping that you don't have to use any of those besides for something fun, not for something awkward. If you like the free content you receive every week, head on over to wherever you get your podcast and hit that subscribe button and so you don't miss out on an episode. Especially as you head into 2022. Make us your New Year's resolution. Learn something new every week in 5 minutes or less. If you're an Apple Podcast user, head on over there and leave us a 5-star review. We are so grateful for you being here today with us and for listening. And thank you so much for your time to do that. It's the best thing you can do to support your favorite podcast. With that, we'll see you here next week for another episode of Sports Curious. Stay safe, friends. Happy holidays. And don't forget to wash your hands.